what we learned. We're going to start on the bottom line of Pei Beis. Pei Beis, Amud Beis. Today we'll learn Pei Gimel. Bezrat Hashem. Okay, the Mishnah told us that when you're making an Eruv, you need two meals. We said, what was the Suda? Then we had a machlekes. Is a Suda Shabbos meal or a weekly meal? That was an easy one. That was a machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Reb Meir. And the Gemara told us that didn't really matter because they were both trying to be lenient, and the question was when they ate more. Okay. So then the Gemara gave us, well, how much is this meal? So Rabbi Yochanan ben Breka didn't tell us. We're talking about we're going to be using a loaf of bread. Rabbi Yochanan ben Breka didn't tell us how big the loaf of bread was. He just told us that how much it costs. It says it cost a pundin. And then he told us how much the market was. This loaf of bread cost a pundin, but the market was 4 sa for a sela. 4 sa, it's 144 eggs times 4, cost a sela. Cost a sela, and we worked it out that would be a kav. That would be a half a kav. Okay, so that would be a half a kav. So we're talking about a loaf of bread. Originally, we thought that it was a half a kav. Then we had a little bit of a problem because we had a brisa that alluded that it's really less than that, because it says that it's the same as, or it's very close to Reb Shimon's opinion, which we'll see. So if it's less than that, so what did it come out to? We had 2 statements from Rav Chisda. One, it's not a half a kav, it's less than half a kav. So either it's half of a half a kav, which means a quarter of a kav, or it was 2/3 of half a kav. Which is 2/6. 2/3 of half a kav. 2/3 of half a kav. It means it would be 1/3 of a whole kav. Okay. Now we have Reb Shimon's opinion. Reb Shimon says, he actually tells us the size of the loaf. He tells us that the loaf that we're dealing with, there's 3 loaves in a kav, and 2/3 of 1 loaf is considered 2 meals. So we actually know the size of a loaf. Then the Mishnah finished off. It says half of this measurement is used for Beis HaMenuga. So half of Reb Shimon's measurement is easy, because Reb Shimon tells us the size of a loaf. It's 1/3 of a kav. There's 3 loaves in a kav. So half of let's turn it into eggs. It's going to be easier for us. A kav is 24 eggs. 1/3 of 24 is 8. Half of 8 is 4. So 4 eggs is going to be the size of how long it takes to eat 4 eggs. That's going to be how long it takes for a person to become tummy if he's in a house of tzaras. For his clothing to become tummy if he waits in it. Half of that, which according to Reb Shimon is 2 eggs, that's lifsol asagvia. That would make a person tummy. You wouldn't be allowed to eat truma. Then we have, okay, chetzi lebeis hamigdal, we're on the bottom of the page. Chetzi lifsol asagvia. And half of that would make a person tummy that he wouldn't be allowed to eat truma. We're now on the top of Pei Gimel. Use this pad to write. Let's see. Tana was taught in a brisa V'chatzi chetzi l'tamei tumas eichlin. And half of a half is going to make a person tummy for tumas eichlin. Okay, let me just go through this with you. Let's see if I can put this up here. It'll be easier. I have the chart from this other fellow, but it didn't help me much. So we'll do both opinions. We were dealing with Reb Shimon's opinion. So let's put down, let's see, this is Reb Shimon. Okay, he held that, well, let's start off with the measurements here. Every 24 eggs, let's do eggs, and is equal to a kav. Okay, now, let me go back. Let's do, a third of it is going to be a kikar, right? Because there's 3 kikars. That equals to 8 eggs. 8 eggs is going to be a kikar. Now we're going to do, let's divide Reb Shimon in half. So his kikar, according to Reb Shimon, a kikar, which means a loaf of bread, is 8 eggs. Half is going to be 4. That's the amount that we're going to use for Beis HaMenuga to become Tameh in the house of Teras. Half of that, 2 eggs, is going to be Lifsal Esagvia. It's going to make a person Tameh if he eats it. Okay, he won't be able to eat Shuma. Half of that is easy as 1 egg. I'm dealing with an egg over there. 1 egg is going to be the size that could transmit Tumah. This is called Tumas Eichlin. It makes food Tameh. Tumas Eichlin. This is Machlekes Rashi and Tosfos. Machlekes Rashi and Tosfos, if when we say Tumas Eichlin, if it means that food becomes Tameh, or if any food can become Tameh, it just needs to be the size to transmit Tumah to something else. We had that Machlekes before and all over the place. Okay. Let's go to Rabbi Yochanan. Ben Breika. Okay, let's do Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika. He was the difficult opinion. Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika. He went like this. He said that let's go with the quarter kav. Okay, a quarter kav is the size of his loaf. His quarter kav is a kikar. Now, how much is a quarter kav? Well, 24 eggs in a kav. A quarter is going to be 6. 6 eggs, right? 6 eggs. 6 beitzim. Okay, so half of that for the Beis HaMenuga, we'll use his measurement right here because it already says Beis HaMenuga. According to Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika, is going to be 3. Let's make that line over there. All of that. Now this is half of 3 is going to be 1.5 to make a person Tameh. It's called Lifsal Esagvia if he eats that. And what's going to be half of 1.5 is going to be 3/4. 3/4 for Tumas. 3/4 of an egg for Tumas Eichlin. Okay, we got through the first line. Let's see. Hope it stays there. If we need it again. The Tana Didan, my time alay Tani Tumas Eichlin. We're on the second line of the Gemara. How come our Tana didn't take us to that last level? We went through the size of an Eruv. Then we said what makes a person Tameh in a house of Teras. Then we said half of that is what Lifsal Esagvia, to make a person Tameh that he can't eat Shum if he ate that amount. But what about Tumas Eichlin? Half of that. You didn't tell us that. Why did our Mishnah stop short? So it says Mishum Delay Shava Shirai Ladodi, because it's not exactly half. If we wanted to use the term half, this wouldn't be exactly half. The Tanya was taught in a brisa. Kama Shir Chatzi Pras, when we say half of a half a loaf, and we use that measurement, a Chatzi Pras, to tell me that a person becomes tamei, that he can't eat truma. Lifsa lesagvia. A pras was for Beis HaMenuga, achilas pras. Pras means a broken piece or a half a loaf, a portion. The word portion probably comes from the word pras, portion. So that's that was the measurement. The pras was used to make a person tummy in the house of Tzuras. Half of that is to make a person tummy that he can't eat truma. How much is a half a pras that makes a person tummy can't eat truma? Beis beitzim chaser kima. 2 eggs, less 1 drop. Let's go back to our screen. So 2 eggs is very good. Fits with Reb Shimon. Less 1 drop. I don't know what we're going to do about the less 1 drop. Okay, close enough. But it's basically 2 eggs, so it would make a person tummy. Div Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yossi Beis beitzim sheichakos. Rabbi Yossi says that it's 2 eggs that are expanded. We had at the beginning of Eiruvin. Sheichakos meant laughing. So, and we meant that it was wider than just an egg. Okay, an expanded egg. Shir Rebbe Beis beitzim v'oid. Rebbe said that it's 2 eggs plus a v'oid. V'oid means plus a bit, plus something. V'oid, yeah, v'oid means an also. Plus an also. What is the also? Kama v'oid, how much is that also? Ech b'me'asrim b'beya. It's 1/20th of an egg. It's another Girsa and Rashi that it's 1/40th. Let's stick with the 1/20th. It's 1/20th of an egg. So it would be 1/10 if there's 2 eggs. Each egg is 1/20th plus 1/20th, so it would be 1/10 if there would be 2 eggs, which that's what we're dealing with, not 2 eggs. Okay, so we have measurements for the shear of a chatzi pras, which is, we're dealing with the case of the Mishnah, we're dealing with this right there. That's where our Mishnah ends. The Brisa begins after this. And we asked, why didn't our Mishnah continue to the next one? So we said, because this is not going to be exactly half of that. This we had Rabbi Yossi's opinion, we had Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, and we had Rebbe's opinion. Rishid, Rabbi Yossi, and Rebbe. Okay, but what that is, it's either a little bit smaller, a little bit larger, or this. Whatever the case is, this one is not going to fit perfectly. But regarding Tumasaychlin, we could go down one level. That food should become tummy, that it should be able to transmit tuma to the next, to other food. It needs to be a certain size. Tanya, started in the Brisa, Reb Nasan Reb Deis Amru Kebeya She'amru Kamaya Klipasa. It's an egg that, with its peel. So, according to Reb Yehuda, this was a little bit less than 2 eggs. So half of it would be less than 1 egg. According to the Reb Deis and Reb Nasan, it's a full egg. But it doesn't fit with Reb Yehuda. It doesn't fit with Reb Yossi, because he said that it's larger than an egg. So half of it would larger than 2 eggs. So which means less than that would be larger than 1 egg. So it doesn't fit with that either. It doesn't fit with Rebbe, because Rebbe said that 1 egg would be 1 egg and a 10th. 1 egg and a 20th. And over here, he's saying that it's exactly an egg. So it's not exactly, it doesn't fit to be that exact. Chum say that it's like an egg without the peel, which is even less than Rabbi Yossi, and Rebbe. less than Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yehuda was the less Chassid Kima, Blessed John. Okay, so basically it's not fitting perfectly. Amar Rafam Bar Papa. Rafam Bar Papa says, Amar Rav Chisda Zu Divrei Rabbi Yehuda v'Rabbi Yosi. That was the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosi, the way you gave the measurements. Over here, that 2 eggs was the amount that a person would become tamei, that he can't eat. He can't eat truma. And half of that would be to Masaichlin. Aval Chachamim Maimrim, the Chacham say Kebeya Umechza Sheiches. The Chacham say it's 1.5 eggs. That would make a person tamei. Now I'm familiar with that opinion. I have it right here. The Chachamim say it's 1.5 eggs, not 2. The Gemara asks, Man Chachamim? Who are the Chachamim that say that it's 1.5? Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika. It's Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika. The Gemara says Pshita. We know that already. Look, we have it on our chart. It's Rabbi Yochanan ben Breika says that 1.5 is that size. The Gemara says no. It's coming to tell us that it's an expanded 1.5. It's not just the same. Okay, there's a chiddush there. Rafam Bar Papa told me something. Kiyasser Rav Dimi, when Rav Di became Amar, he said, Shigar Bunyas L'Rebbe, a fellow by the name of Bunyas. He sent to Rebbe Mudya the Kundis. Mudya the Kundis is the name of a saw measurement. I don't know exactly any details in that. But Demin Neusa, from the place of Neusa. All right, all of this is like Mad Libs. Insert a name, insert a place, you come up with it, whatever. I'm not familiar with any of these. Not Bunyas and not Mudi the Kundis and not Nusa. Okay, Vashir Rebbe, so he sent him this measurement, this like measuring bowl. Vashir Rebbe measured it on Masan Vesheva Esrei Bayin, that it was 217 eggs. Okay, let me do this 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let's see if we can do this over here. Usually a saw is, let me add in, it's a saw midbari. Saw midbari or midbarius is 144 eggs. 144 eggs. Now, he just got this type of saw. We're going to call it Mudya de Kundis. Mudya. Sorry for my handwriting. That's right. Wait, how'd that happen? Let me see. Okay, hold it over there, all right? He banged it? It's what? Yeah, just hold it over there. Hold it over there for a minute.
Should we send the Dr. Stein over?
1 second. Hold it, don't take it off, all right?
Dr. Stein, what do you suggest?
Yeah, okay.
I can't figure out what happened.
No, she's bleeding on the left. Okay. So I have over here Mudya, what's it called? The Kundis. The Kundis. Mudya the Kundis, we said, was 217 eggs. It's way more than the regular saw. The Gemara asks right away, Hasa dehecha, where do you get this 217 for a saw that's normally 144? Either midbaris, kuf mem dalet hava. If it's a midbaris, the original saw that was in the desert, that's 144. Just leave it on for another minute, all right? Hold it there. The Yerushalmis, if it's a Yerushalmi, let's put that down. Yerushalmi, that's going to be Kufayin Gimel. That's 173. V'ida Tzipairis, Reizayin Haven. And if it's a tzipori, that's a later one, that's going to be 207. Well, 207 is not far off. That's the closest. Now, how did we get this? How did we get all of these? So what we did was we added what the Gemara calls a sixth. We call it a fifth. We call it a fifth. So when you add a fifth to 144, let's do it like this. 144 plus 144 over 5 is going to equal, well, we got to determine what 144 over 5 is. It's going to be 28 and 4/5. So it's basically 29. Let's see. 144 plus 29. 29 is going to be let me put it under. Plus 9 is 3. 4 plus 2, 6, 7. And then 173. So that works. That gives us 173. So we figured that out. Now we have to do 173. We have to do the same thing. It's going to be 173 plus a fifth. So that's going to give us 34 and 3/5. 34. So it's really 173 plus 34 is going to be, I would do that on the bottom. 173 plus 34 is going to be 7, and 3 and 4 is 7, and 3 is going to be 0, and 2. So it's 207. So basically adding a fifth is what gives us these measurements. This is the original 144. 173 is plus a fifth on the 144, and plus a fifth of the 173 is 207. So the size of this measurement was increasing. All right, it works out. So now the question is, oh, good, it stopped. You can leave it now. You can just leave it. Okay, now our question is that we don't have the 207. This is our number that we're looking for. So the Gemara says, Lailam de Tzipairis. Okay, really we're dealing with the Tzipairi one. The 207 is going to match the 217. I see Chalsa Shadi Alayu. You have to take Chala from it. Now Chala is 1/24. 1 out of 24. That's a Chala for a baker. That's a Chala for a homeowner, I'm sorry. A baker is 148. For a homeowner, it's 1/24. Chalsa Kamahavi. How much is the Chala going to be of 207? You could do it the other way. The Chala of 217 you could do also. So Rashi does it like this. Rashi says that it's the Chala for this is 192 divided by 24. 24 is going to equal 8. That's how Rashi does it. So okay, so 207 plus 8 is going to give us 2 is going to equal 215. 215, not 240. So the Gemara said you have to add on an extra. I only did 192. It's going to be a little bit more. There's another 15 for 207. Another 15. You do it the other way. You're going to get 9. If you do 217 over 24, you're going to get 9. Okay. Either way, you don't get to 217. It's a little under 217. You still don't have 217. You have 215. So what are we going to do over here? We're going to take Rebbe's va'oides. Rebbe said that there's a va'oid. There's 1/20th. And we're going to throw it on. So 1/20th of 200 eggs, let's drop the rest of them. 1/20th of 200 eggs is going to be an extra 10 eggs. 1/20th of 200 is going to be 10 eggs, right? 1/20th of 200 is going to be 10. So 207 plus the va'id, let's do plus va'id, I'm writing in Hebrew and English, plus va'id is going to be 10. It's going to be a total of 217. We have it. Now the truth is, it's going to be, we only did 20th of 200. It's really, you have 17 24ths. Every egg has another, every egg was a 20th of an egg, had a 20th of an egg. Of a 20, I'm sorry. So you have 17 20ths. You have 17 20ths left. It's not really 217. It's 217 plus 17 20ths of an egg. So it says kiven delay havi kabele chashavle. Okay, it's not a full egg, so it doesn't. We don't count it. It's only a 17th of an egg. Okay, 1 second. Okay. So, okay, we're up to Taner Rabbana. So far, so good. Anyway, it's on paper. It looks like it's clear. Taner Rabbanan, starting a brisa. So Yerushalmis Yisrael Midbaris Shtus. The Yerushalmi Sa, which was 173, is greater than the Midbari Sa 144 1/6. Now the reason why we did 1/5, we added a fifth, is because their Shtus, their sixth, is actually added on top of it. So what you do is you always divide it by one number lower. You divide it by 5. Then you throw that fifth on the top, and now, oh, look, now it's a sixth. So that's how they get a sixth. It's called shtus milbar. It's thrown on the top. If it's thrown on the outside, and then it becomes. So the way you do it when you don't have it yet is you divide it by 5. And the tzipari is greater than the Yerushalmi, also a sixth, which for us we called it a fifth. Nimtzis, what comes out is shel tziparis yisrael midbaris shlish. This gets confusing. If the Yerushalmi is greater than the midbari by a sixth, and the tzipari is greater than the Yerushalmi by a sixth, so 2/6 is a third. Only problem is we didn't use the same sixth to do this. We used a sixth of 144 to get 173. We did a sixth of 173 to get 207. And we're not doing this consistent. It's not consistent. So this is throwing us off a bit. Shlish deman, a third of what? It's the tzipari is greater than the midbari a third. So we're going to do, the Gemara is going to go through it. We'll spell it out, but the Gemara is going to go through it. Ilay mishlish midbaris. We'll do it over here. 144 plus a third. Michti. How much is a third? Shlish midbaris kamahavi is arbon v'tamnai is 48. A third of 144 is 48. So 48 is going to give us, let's do this. It's 12, 9, 192, correct? V'ilu oidfa shishinu class. We have to see what we're left. 140, we're basically 207 minus 144 is going to give us 63. We're looking for the number 63. That's what we're looking for. 63 is our number, is our difference between 207 and 144. correct? Yeah, 63. So that's the number that we're looking for. So 48 doesn't give me 207. It gives me 192. Okay, so let's deal with the shlish of the Yerushalmi, the middle one, a third of 173. So shlish didei kamahavi, that's chamshin v'tamnaya, naki tilsa. A third of 173 is going to be chamshin v'tamnaya, 58, naki tilsa minus a third, which means 57.6. So if I do 144 plus 57, and then we'll add the sixth. So there's 11. And 1 is going to be 0. It's going to be 201. Does that make sense? Did I do that right? That looks correct. It's going to be 201. That's not going to reach it either. So, Vilo Eitva Shishtin Laslas. No, we're looking for the 63, not 57. That's not going to do it for us. We need to get another 6. We need another 6. It's not really a third. V'ilo the tzipari shlish didei kama having. How much is a third of the tzipari, of a third of 207? So shlish didei kama havi is 69. 207 naki chada. It's 69 and naki chada, take off 1. It's basically 70 minus 1, which is 69. Okay. V'ilu aitfa samach gimel. Excuse me. But what we're looking for is 63, not 69. This is going to give us, let's do 144. That's 3, 213. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for 207. Elam Rabbi Yirmiyah says, here's what's going on. What comes out, we have to read it different. A sav tzipari, the 207, which is a sav tzipari, is larger than the midbarius karav l'shlish shala. It's 63 eggs larger, but it's close to a third of it, which is 69. V'shlish shala, and a third of it, which is 69. This karav l'mechza the midbaris is close to half of the midbaris. Half of the midbaris is going to be half of that is going to be 144 and a half is going to be 72. It's going to be 72. It's going to be half of the 144. So 69 and 72 is very close, and 69 and 63 is close. So that's what we were saying. Okay, once you're talking like close, this is not how gematrias work. So, Maskifla Ravina midi karev Tanya Ravina says 1 second. Does it say close? Is that what we're dealing with? Close. We were looking for something that's like maybe a percent of an egg off, but not a fraction of an egg, but not a just a bunch of numbers off. Elam Ravina Achikama. Ravina says the following: Nimtza shlish shel tzipari. What comes out is that a shlish of tzipari, a third of the tzipari, a third of the 207, biva oidis shel Rebbe. Oh, we're going to do it differently. If we're going to add the va'oidis of Rebbe, it's not going to be 207. It's going to be 217. Remember, we got the number 217. When you add those va'oidis, you get an extra 10. Yisera al mechza shel midbarish lishpeya. So, what is a third of 217 so shlish to do ayin beis or shlish beya. A third of 217 is going to be 72. Yeah, 72 minus with a remainder one, right? I do this old-fashioned. 3 into 21 would be 7. That's equal, and then 3 into 7 will go 2, remainder 1. 72, remainder 1. All right. So what's the 72? Where do we have 72? Oh, we had 72 right here. That's what we wanted to say. A third of the 217 is half of the midbari. A third of the tzipari comes out to half of the midbari, and it's not that it's close. It's more than close. It's 72 and remainder 1, and this is 72. Okay.
Rabbi Smith, could you please remind me what these calculations are being used for?
Yeah.
I hate math, by the way.
Where are we headed with this?
Is that what it is? Math? I was trying to figure it out.
It's philosophy. We were discussing. Really, we were discussing the size of an Erev Tchumen. Discussing the size of the Erev Tchumen, how big the loaf should be. You're supposed to use a whole loaf. And we had different shittas about the loaf. And then we said that when you use this loaf, half of this loaf is going to teach me another halacha. Half of that is going to teach me another halacha. Is relevant for another halacha. Half of that is relevant for another halacha. And then we started to discuss the different measurements that are used for a sa, and how the sa increased. And that's basically what we're looking at, is this increase of the sa. I don't know if we have this in the modern day to discuss this. I don't know if we have in modern measurements that we increased anything. I mean, we adjusted the calendar, but we adjusted the thermometer a bunch of times. That was ridiculous. They used to count up. They used to count, and when they first made the thermometer, they started at the as it increased in heat, it went downwards. It went. They put the numbers on the thing down. It was just like. Then they decided to switch it. So. Yeah, I don't know if we have anything similar to this. Okay. Tanur Rabbanan was taught in a brisa.
Massive loaves of bread that are being put out to make the Erev, right?
Well, it's not so bad. It's 6. What are we dealing with? We're dealing with either a 6 egg loaf or a 8 egg. It's not so bad.
I'm a little confused. Are the eggs the equivalent in size, or the equivalent of the amount of time to eat the eggs?
Flour. Oh, the only one that was time was the Beis HaMenuga. This one over here, this one over here was a time measurement. That was time. Amount of time it takes to eat 4 eggs. That's the one. This is called Kedei Achilas Pras. Kedei Achilas Pras. Everything else was actually a size. So the 8 eggs would have been the loaf that was used, according to Reb Shimon. Well, at least 2/3 of that would have been a loaf that was used to make an Eruv. And according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Breka, it was 6 eggs. That was the loaf that was used. That was 2 meals. That was, either way, it's 2 meals. Yeah. Now we're going to get into challah. So it goes like this. The first of your dough. We turn the page. What's the dough? Kedei isei sechem. The amount of your dough. That's the amount that you need to take challah from. To do some more writing. Let's see. Let's do this. It's not so complicated. We'll do this. This is not as bad. This is easier. Let's just, we don't need all of this, but okay. We'll put on the basic measurements here. There's a core. We've had that measurement before. That's equal to 30 sa'ah. Huge amount. We have a measurement that's called a bas, which is also an ephah. A bas, I guess there's an Aramaic and a Hebrew. It's equal to an ephah. Ephah is the 10th of a core. It's meiser of a core, so that's only going to be 3 sa. Let me do that again. 3 sa. Okay. V'ha'omer is asira sa'efa. And the omer is 1/10 of an ephah. Omer is 1/10 of a sa. Okay, now, what we need to do in order to work this out is we have to go like this. We have to do that there are 6 kav in a sa. Remember, a kav is 24 eggs. 6 kav is 144. 3 sa, let's do the 3 sa over here. 3 sa is equal to 18 kav, right? Because 6 kav, 6 times 3 is 18. Is 18 kav. There are 4 lug in a kav. So let's do this. A kav is equal to 4 lug. A lug is called a revius, a riva. It's called a revius. It's not actually the revius that we talk about. We do a revius halug, but this is because it's a kav. A kav has 4 lug, so it's a quarter of a lug. I'm sorry, a lug is a quarter of a kav. So now how many 18 kav, if I do 18 kav over here, 18 kav, how many lug would I have? I would have 72 lug. Does that make sense? 18 times 18 times 4 is 72. So I have 72 lug. Is that good? Yeah, because 4 times is 32. Okay. So where we're holding right now is what's going to be, all I know is that a sa is 72 lug. What is an omer? An omer is 1/10 of an ephah. That's going to be, it's going to be 7.2 lug. All right. That's easy. 1/10. You move over the decimal. So, yeah, I'll put that there. Okay, now, let's see what this says. Kami isasechem, kadei isas amidbar. It's the size of the dough in the desert. But kami isas amidbar, how much is the dough in the desert? Diksiv v'ha'imer asir seifahu. An Omer is a tenth of an ephah. Omer is a tenth of an ephah. Mikan amru zayin revan kemach va'oid chayevas b'chala. 7 revaim. What's a revaim? Is a lug. Because a lug is a quarter of a cup. Va'oid plus a little bit. This is the va'oid. That's the 2.2 is the va'oid. That is the size of dough that's chayev in challah. How many eggs is that? How many eggs are in a lug? We said there's 6 eggs in a lug. It comes out that there's 43. It's supposed to be 43 in the third eggs. Actually, the word challah is gematria 30 and ches. This is gematria 43. Challah equals 43. It's actually 43 eggs. That's the way of remembering it. But 7.2 lugs is going to be 7 lugs is going to be 42.2 times 6 is going to be a third. It's going to be a whole in a third. Okay. Shehein vav shel Yerushalmis. Whenever it's 7 of midbaris, that's going to be, we take away 1 for the Yerushalmis because 6 midbarius become 5 Yerushalmis. Right? We said the Yerushalmis was larger, was a 5th more. So 6 midbarius would be 5. I would only need 5 of the Yerushalmis to have the same size. And then, 7 of midbaris would be 6 Yerushalmis, which would be 5 of tzipari. Each one goes down 1 measurement because I'm removing a 5th from. They're getting larger 1/5, so I just remove 1, and then it would be 5 of tzipari. Mikan amru. From here they said, if someone eats this amount, it's considered healthy. And umavarach, and he's blessed. Yasser al kain, Rav son, more than that is considered a glutton. Pachas mikan mikolkol b'meyav. Any less than that is considered mikolkol. There's something wrong. Okay, let's leave this right here. We'll start the new Mishnah as another piece. We'll do it tomorrow.